sort of elite grappling strength that comes from decades of throwing human bodies around.
Yeah, Islam's going to fight against Ian Gary next, right? I assume that Islam's going to win that one just because of his wrestling pedigree. You know, to be able to dictate if the fight's going to be standing or on the ground, it's a great gift. Another guy with a strong team behind him, strong faith.
I think Islam is more of a threat on the ground than Shopguy was. Like, if he thinks, oh, if he takes me down, I'm just gonna hold my guard, body triangle him, and then just wait for the ref to stand us up. That's not gonna be the case.
Islam, I think, is the best of the Dagestanis, one of the best fighters in history, one of the most efficient.
Is Islam's legacy greater than Khabib's legacy?
Yes. Just out of pure merit, 100%. Title defense is a two weight division thing.
Anticipation is building rapidly as UFC 330 approaches, yet supporters are openly questioning how Islam will handle the size difference when facing Ian Gary. Although Gary's tall frame has generated widespread conversation, numerous combat sports veterans insist Islam possesses more than enough technical mastery to neutralize any physical leverage held by his opponent.
The career of Islam is ridiculous. When you look at the last few fights that he had, the people on his resume, it's insane. Jack Della Maddalena, Renato Moicano, granted on a day's notice, and he made it look easy, got it done in just 4 minutes. Before that, Dustin Poirier submitted him. Alexander Volkanovski, 2 times in a row. Charles Oliveira, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises. When Thiago Moises was the real deal, when he was a contender, when he was coming up and he was very, very hungry. So as I say, he's on a run. The record of Islam Makhachev is 28 wins and 1 loss with 18 stoppages. And of course, if he can get a hold of Ian Gary and take him down, yeah, it's probably going to be easy. Ian will struggle to get back to his feet, and I don't think he can match Islam in terms of jiu-jitsu or submission grappling, okay?
Analyzing his physical attributes, Joe Rogan emphasizes that Islam Makhachev boasts extraordinary raw power that serves as a core asset. Rogan explains that whenever Islam secures top position, his smothering control and oppressive grip make escaping nearly impossible, reminding fans how effortlessly he dismantled established contenders like Drew Dober and Charles Oliveira.
It's like he's just got this leverage, this grappling squeeze that I remember when he fought Drew Dober, and like when he got Dober down to the ground, I was like, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. As soon as he gets on top, and then he starts clamping down and squeezing, and guys are just like, Oliveira was tapping like the moment it was on. He was like, fuck this.
Yeah, a lot of those really good grappler guys, they're strong, definitely, but they're really strong at closing up all of the space. Like, if you let me get an underhook, like, I can feel pretty strong. Like, even if you're much bigger than me, I'll like make you take a couple steps back, which really shouldn't happen. But if I just close up all of the space, which I think is a big component of being a really good grappler, is being able to be like, nope, that's my space. You don't get that, this, you know, and you're not going to get inside of mine. I can feel strong as fuck, you know? And yeah, those types of guys, they're just so used.
Rogan further contends that Islam's evolution stretches well past his elite wrestling foundation. The veteran commentator notes that Makhachev's striking skill has surged to elite levels, citing his highlight reel finish of Alexander Volkanovski to demonstrate why foes must fear his stand-up game just as intensely as his grappling.
Threat everywhere. Like when he knocked out Volk with that high kick.
Yeah, that was
crazy. But granted, if I was in Volk's corner, I would say, no,
I know.
You're not taking it. You've been drinking beer and eating kebabs. Like, there's no way you're taking this fight on 10 days notice. I don't care how confident you are. I don't care how much you like fighting. That's a crazy thing. I don't care how much money they're paying you. Because you look at the slide that his career took, right? He arguably won that first fight with Islam. Very close fight, loses a decision. Or was it?
Echoing that high praise, UFC Hall of Famer Chris Weidman asserts that Islam Makhachev has already earned his place among the sport's icons. Weidman notes that stringing together a couple more dominant, crowd-pleasing victories will permanently lock Islam into the debate for the absolute greatest combatants in MMA history.
I don't know. I just think a couple more exciting fights, and he's there for me. You know, he's so good. He's been so dominant. So, yeah.
Despite his admiration for the champion, Weidman refuses to write off Ian Gary. He points to Gary's lengthy frame, fluid footwork, and stubborn takedown defense as severe strategic hurdles, noting that if the Irish contender successfully keeps the action on the feet, he possesses the tools to make this matchup far more competitive than consensus dictates.
Yeah, no, I think it's a tough fight for Ian, but he's also a different type of test for Makhachev. I think the odds should be a little bit closer just because he's really tall. He's not afraid to have a boring fight. Like he will move on you nonstop. He's a little hard to take down. So if he keeps it standing, I think we got an exciting fight. So it's an interesting fight. I think it should be a little bit closer than that.
At the same time, Daniel Cormier labels Ian Gary as perhaps the most dangerous stylistic hurdle Islam Makhachev could face in the current landscape. DC notes that Gary's elite striking repertoire, long range, and proven takedown defense give him every asset required to test the champion, while Israel Adesanya expects Islam to smoothly blend his boxing with his wrestling setups rather than relying on a single threat, using heavy jabs and leg kicks to open paths for takedowns into his dominant ground game.
Khabib's protege, or he's the second heir to the throne of the Dagestanis. I think he's got better striking than Khabib. When it comes to grappling though, even till this day, I don't know. I think striking wise, Islam can definitely leg kick, can definitely jab him, but I don't think he's gonna hurt him. I think Islam will use his striking to get close and keep him guessing and then to shoot, because that's where Islam feels like he's the most dangerous in this fight.
Adesanya also singles out the massive progression in Islam's striking rhythm, praising his fence as some of the most convincing in the entire promotion. He points directly to Makhachev's methodical display against Jack Della Maddalena, emphasizing how his supreme patience and constant subtle fence leave opponents completely unable to read incoming attacks.
Who in the UFC or other promotions does this the best current time?
In the UFC, you look at Islam versus JDM. I was very impressed with Islam's feinting. There was one point, because I always say sometimes I overfeint, but that's good because they never know when it's coming. But Islam did that in his last fight with JDM. There was points he just was feinting like 12 times before he even threw a jab. This is later in the fight as well, so I was really impressed with that.
Bilal Muhammad offers an alternative take, arguing that the combat sports community is vastly underestimating Ian Gary's chances. While Bilal still recognizes Islam as the top pound-for-pound fighter on earth, he insists that Gary's fight intelligence, thorough preparation, and tactical adaptability make him an exceedingly dangerous underdog.
I think he's very smart with the way he fights and the way he strategizes and game plans. But obviously, Islam is pound for pound, right? But I think breaking down both guys, I'll get more in depth with striking, grappling, all those situations. But I definitely think Ian's a live dog, right?
Breaking down the tactical matchup, Bilal Muhammad suggests that Ian Gary's entire strategy collapses the second Islam Makhachev grounds him. He asserts that Gary won't be able to stay safe on the canvas like he did against Shavkat Rakhmonov, simply because Makhachev's submission arsenal is infinitely more lethal.
Yeah, he's doing some interviews this week. He's saying the worst thing that can happen to me is Islam lays on me for 25 minutes. There's no threat in my mind for a submission or a striking related finish. Is that simplifying it too much, or do you think Ian's onto something there?
If that's the case, then it's the worst thing that could happen for Islam is Ian just runs the whole time. So it's regardless. But if he gets taken down, it's not going to be the same situation as when Shavkat took him down. Ian did a good job of just holding him, right? He's not going to be able to hold him in his guard. The guy got Islam. I think Islam is more of a threat on the ground than Shavkat was. If he thinks, if he takes me down, I'm just going to hold my guard, body triangle him, and then just wait for the ref to stand us up. That's not going to be the case.
Looking at the broader picture, Bilal praises the sheer magnitude of Islam's modern resume. He notes that building a 16-fight UFC winning streak is historic in itself, and should Makhachev extend that streak while capturing further championship accolades, his claim as the greatest of all time will become undeniable.
That's crazy, right? It's so easy to lose in a sport. Anything could happen. You could literally walk and slip and catch something or get caught with something. So what he's doing is wild. Now to do it at 2 weight classes is even bigger. I don't think that people understand how hard it is to put that big of a streak on or get a double-digit streak in the UFC. It's one of the craziest things. And then you're fighting the best guys in the world every single time. But yeah, that's going to put him on close to that Mount Rushmore, right? At what point do you he belongs up there? They're not mentioning his name.
That exact legacy sentiment was echoed by analyst Din Thomas. He highlights that Islam has already matched Anderson Silva's historic mark for one of the longest continuous win streaks in UFC history. believing that securing one more signature hand raise will propel him even higher among the sport's immortal figures.
He is tied with Anderson Silva for the longest winning streak in UFC history at 16 straight fights. Literally no one has done better than this in the history of our sport. So like he is facing serious history here. If he wins this and gets that 17, what kind of conversations are we having about Islam as the GOAT, where he fits in the all-timers? Like this is epic, iconic stuff he's trying to do with this win.
Yeah, it's crazy that we never actually considered him in the conversation. You know, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Khabib, and we tend to forget about guys like Islam. They just kind of sneak under the radar quietly and create this aura about them. And then when you really dissect that, what it is, and you go, wow, it's pretty impressive. That is, it's really impressive. And you know, and I'm willing to say that his strength of schedule coming up was even pretty deep, was stacked, more so than other guys. You know, so when you talk about not only just like his, you know, his winning streak, like not just his title run, but his winning streak. Like when you talk about guys like, you know, he was just smashing really good guys.
Adding his perspective to the mix, former heavyweight champion John Jones also favors Makhachev to come out on top. Jones observes that Islam's greatest advantage lies in his ability to dictate precisely where every sequence occurs, allowing him to fight strictly on his terms, while steadily grinding down rivals through dominant control.
Islam Makhachev and his upcoming fight, he made a successful debut in the upper weight class, step up to welterweight. What difference does it take when you stepping up in the weight class on the championship level?
Yeah, Islam's going to fight against Ian Gary next, right? I assume that Islam's going to win that one just because of his wrestling pedigree. You know, to be able to dictate if the fight's going to be standing or on the ground, it's a great gift. Another guy with a strong team behind him, strong faith. I'm not rooting for anyone in that fight because I don't know either one of those guys on the personal level, but I'm assuming that Islam's going to win.
Henry Cejudo, on the other hand, believes Ian Gary presents a unique physical puzzle that Islam rarely encounters. He highlights Gary's impressive height, extended reach, sharp jab, and long-range kicking dynamic as potent weapons, refusing to discount the challenger despite his vast respect for Makhachev's talents.
From 155 pounds to 170 pounds, that's 15 pounds, man. Ian, he's never fought a big, long dude that has a jab, that knows how to kick, that's a longer body.
Move
and
a lot.
I'm always kind of pro wrestling. Like every time there's a wrestler that's going up against a striker or whatnot, I'll always kind of tend to go with the wrestler, particularly if I know their mindset a little bit. But in this one, man, and I'm good friends with Islam. Obviously, I'm not counting this dude out, but I'm just saying, bro, I still go back and I think of some of the weapons that
Cejudo goes on to suggest that Gary's defensive grappling ability is far better than most fans give him credit for. He brings up Gary's high-stakes bout against Shavkat Rakhmonov, where the Irishman threatened back submissions, arguing those moments prove he can test elite grapplers if given the opportunity.
Ian Gary could take the back very, very well. He's shown that, man. If you're able to take the back against a guy like Shavkat Rakhmonov and then almost finish him with the smaller guy with longer legs, I personally think this is a good fight for Ian Gary. I think a harder fight would be like a guy like Kamaru, but for Ian Gary, I feel like this is good for him, in my opinion.
Providing historical context, Mike Swick recalled Islam's developmental years at American Kickboxing Academy, revealing that Makhachev was consistently the toughest sparring partner Khabib Nurmagomedov ever pushed through. While Swick never anticipated Islam climbing to pound-for-pound dominance this fast, he admits the champion has shattered every ceiling imaginable.
Are you surprised that Islam Makhachev was so good at welterweight?
No, not really. He's impressed me since the beginning. He's always given Khabib the hardest time in the gym. So I knew he was going to be right after Khabib. Khabib's going to have his run, and then Islam was going to have his run. I'll be honest, I didn't think he was going to do as good as he did. I didn't think he was going to become like the pound for pound so fast. Because just the coincidence of the two of our guys and two friends like that to take over the sport and at their time be pound for pound, arguably the best. But I knew he was going to have success for sure and be a champion, and he lived up to every expectation I had and more. So I love it.
Former welterweight king Kamaru Usman offered identical praise for the dominant champion. He describes Islam as one of the most complete martial artists active today, admitting he struggles to find any exploitable flaws in his game, and calling him as formidable an opponent as anyone could face in the octagon.
I'm not here to glaze it in any way, form, or fashion, but I say it's the most competitive because when I look at a guy like Islam, I don't really see holes like that. And that's something that scares me, that causes that heartbeat to go up. And that's where you see some of the most spectacular performance. Because the last time I felt that like that was Kobe Covington won. And that's when I was like, yo, you got a guy that can wrestle just as good as you, a guy that can grapple just as good, a guy that can maybe not strike it, but a guy that can strike just as well. You have a guy that's good at all these things. How do you get that victory? And that's where you live. That's where you get that, you know, your spirit just is in there to just fight it out.
Turning back to match predictions, Josh Thompson expects Gary's standard point fighting approach to fall short against an athlete as well-rounded as Makhachev. He foresees Islam eventually grounding the action and locking up a submission victory long before the championship round clock runs out.
I like the way he fights because, to be honest, towards the end of my career, I fought very similar. I fought stick and move, and try to land the big shot. This guy fights this way, though, at 28, 29 years old, however old he is, you know, and he's fast, he's athletic, he's 6'3". I mean, you know, I don't know. It's to me, it's for Islam. If the fight hits the ground, I think he dominates. I think this fight's probably over within a round or two, maybe 2 rounds, 3. I would say 2 or 3 rounds. Once he gets him down one time, I don't think Gary Machado is the same fighter after that. Pass guard, you know, like throw the legs to the side, pass the guard, get to side control, get to mount, and I think just right to the submission. I think
Sean Brady reaches a virtually identical conclusion about the matchup's trajectory. While respecting Gary's immense striking talent, Brady believes Islam's wrestling pedigree exists on a completely separate tier, expecting the reigning champion to take complete command once grappling exchanges initiate.
Ian's going to get smoked by Islam.
I think it's easy like that.
Yes, I do. And luckily, Ilya lost, so they're not going to try to make that super fight, because if Ilya would have won, Islam would win. The division would be held up even longer than it's already been and going to be. I'm hoping that Islam does his thing, and if he's going to stay around, quick turnaround or retire. I've heard he only has a couple left, so we'll see what happens, but he's about to...
Offering a contrasting view, Brett Okamoto considers Gary to be one of the most intriguing stylistic challenges Islam has encountered in recent memory. He points to Gary's footwork, relentless cardio, and razor-sharp striking as assets that will force the champion to fight at an exhausting, unprecedented pace.
I actually am super intrigued by that fight. Yeah, I think Ian Machado Gary has had some fights that have not been the most exciting. Obviously, there have been a few of them where, you know, the fans have been booing in the arena, and, you know, then Carlos Prates almost got him late in that fight. But I think that Ian, because of the cardio and the experience and the fight intelligence and just the technicality of what he does, I think he's probably the toughest fight in welterweight for Islam.
Meanwhile, the MMA guru took a far bolder stance on the upcoming clash. He admitted that the staggering wave of crazy upsets this year made him tempted to pick Ian Gary, arguing that no capable underdog can ever be written off in modern mixed martial arts.
Hear me out. Strickland pulled it off against Chimaev. Gaethje just pulled off the impossible against Ilia Topuria. And you're telling me that I shouldn't pick Ian Machado Gary to defeat Islam Makhachev in the main event and school him over 5 rounds? Come on! This is how it works, right? This is just the way things go, folks. I don't make the rules of MMA. I really don't. But there's an underdog there. And his name's Ian Machado Gary. And he should lose. And Islam Makhachev's on this GOAT horizon. And man, if he wins this one, we may have to have some uncomfortable conversations about the GOAT list. We've heard it all before. These are in a caucus. He can't be beaten, even though this one's been beaten before. I've seen this guy flatline KO'd, okay? And I'm not supposed to pick Ian Machado Gary here. I'm picking Ian Gary!
However, after closely evaluating Gary's latest training footage, Guru quickly pulled back on that upset pick. He openly questioned Gary's technical preparation, ultimately concluding that Islam Makhachev is simply too dominant overall, predicting a swift stoppage victory for the champion inside the first 2 rounds.
And you said, hey, cameraman, get the camera. What we're going to do, you're going to be an over-unders against me. He's going to ask me the question, and I'm going to separate and then give this answer. And once I'm done, I'll do this with my hands, and you cut the camera, and we'll be all good. I hate that he tried to make that one line. Oh, he just had that speech ready to go off the cuff, folks. So we're just going to be an over-unders, and if you ask the question, and then I'll respond.
He's undefeated.
Of course he would. Of course he'd rather fight Morales. Because Morales hasn't beaten anyone in the sport. He said he'd rather fight Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman has won 2 fights in the last 10 he's had. He said he'd rather fight Pratchett, a man who I beat. He'd rather fight anybody except me.
This guy, I'm picking, you know what Makhachev's subbing him into? Straight up, dude. Honestly, Makhachev's strangling this fucking worm in 2 rounds. I sense it, chat. I just got a feeling about this one.
Ultimately, these remain predictions from fighters and experts, and the definitive answers will only be revealed inside the cage at UFC 330. Do you believe Islam Makhachev will prove his supremacy as the pound-for-pound ruler once again? Or can Ian Gary shocks the sport with a massive upset? Share your thoughts down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. Subscribe for more content, and we will see you next time.